All right. Happy Monday. October 18th is here. Can you believe it? And yes, you are seeing this correctly. Flannel is coming out because it's a little bit chilly out there today. I think our high today is going to be about 70, 74, maybe. But the mornings are chilly. I think today was like 38 degrees. So a little chilly. Flannel had to come out, but I'm okay with that. I like the flannel. It's nice. Good time of year. All right. Today we are going to be doing our Monday mindset. And today is something I think very, very important. And I think a lot of people need to hear. This was actually inspired by an email. Actually, not an email. Take that back. It was a private message that was sent over by one of my students and running into a little bit of that learning curse where they're learning, really enjoying the learning, and not being able to start. So we need to get past that learning little phase there, and we have to learn just enough. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. I don't know about you, but I think we all love to learn, or at least we're fascinated with like the potential and what could be. But man, when the rubber meets the road and it gets real, that's when people get a little nervous, get a little afraid because we got to actually do the work. So that's what we're going to talk about here today on this Monday Mindset. Before we do, just wanted to make sure that the audio is good, the video is good. It looks like, let's see, Alejandro is here with us. What up, Professor Apple? And the glasses, the glasses are not on today. And I don't know why. I just didn't put them on. Going to mention the flannel. Love the flannel weather. Yeah, love it too. We're actually going to be heading back to New York in a couple of weeks, and we'll be able to enjoy even a little bit cooler weather in New York. We're going to go back and visit my wife's cousin and her husband and her kids. So we're going to have a good time there. So we always like going back to New York in the fall. We always love the fall weather there. But the fall weather here is good too. We get good foliage and all that stuff, and we get cool mornings, cool evenings. But yeah, so hopefully you guys had an amazing weekend. We did another a full weekend of some beach volleyball. My daughter went to, where did we go? Fayetteville, I think it was. And they ended up winning. They came in first. It was pretty awesome. And she won a couple prizes. They normally don't give out prizes, but they gave out these really cool sunglasses and a spike ball little game. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So it was a good weekend. Okay, we are going to get rocking and rolling here so we can get on with our day. But I wanted to come in here, do our Monday mindset, get you guys set right for the week, and we can kick this thing off and get on out of here so we can get some stuff done. All right. So before we do, I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pop up my little notes here. I don't have many, but I've got like what I'm going to be talking about, kind of. All right. So here we go. All right, guys, welcome back to another Monday Mindset. I am fired up today because, well, I'm wearing flannel. And if you guys can't see me because you're listening to the podcast, well, I've got flannel on today because it's a little bit chilly here in South Carolina / North Carolina. I'm right on the edge. So you might as well say I'm in North Carolina, right on the edge. But it is a little chilly out there. So we got the flannel rocking today. We got a good Monday mindset that I want to share with you, and I want to get your week started right. And the thing that we're going to be talking about here today is something I think we've all fallen into this trap or this curse, and that is learning, the learning curse. Now, if you were to say this to me years ago when I was in school, I'd been like, you're crazy. I'm not into any learning curse. I want to get out of learning. But the thing is when you're interested in something, if something is going to better your life, if something is exciting to you, whether it's learning the guitar or whether it's learning how to build a business online or learning how to be a better beach volleyball player, whatever it is, you're probably excited about that thing and you want to learn, right? And there's so many resources out there nowadays that we can learn and learn and learn and learn, and we love it, right? Because it's fun. But that doesn't put us into action. So if you're learning by just consuming, well, you're going to probably stay stuck for a very long time. And the reason why I wanted to do this episode here today was because I received a message from one of my students, and I'm going to read it to you really, really quick. And if Steve is listening, I'm responding to Steve right now. But I wanted to put this together, and I actually sent an email out to my email list this morning because I think it's really, really important that we fall into this learning curse, right? Or this learning phase. All right. And I want to make sure that you learn enough to implement it. And then from there, we can build on that. All right. So here was Steve's message. It says, "Hey, Scott, I've gone through your whole course in my car twice, but I just can't get started with the first action step. I love building new things, and I really want to get my first site up and running, but it seems it always gets pushed to a later time frame. Any suggestions to get me unstuck would be great. Thanks, Steve." Well, okay, this is going to be for Steve, but this is going to be for anyone because we all fall into this trap. And that is, we want to learn, right? We want to learn all the steps first, which is okay. If you want to go through a training, go through the whole thing, fine. You're going to spend all that time going through it, but why not implement along the way, right? So inside of our trainings, any trainings, we're always going to teach something, and then at the very end of it, we're going to create a lesson, or we're going to create an action item, okay? And then it builds on itself. So inside of Niche Properties, we have 7 different pillars, right? And 6 of those are things that have to be built in order to get to the 7th pillar, okay? And really, in the 7th one is more about maintaining everything, right? And keeping things rolling and building on things. But the very first step when you're building a house, just like anything else, is first off, we got to make sure that the land is right, and that it's permitted, and that it can actually have a house built there. And is it going to do well, right? So we have to do all that stuff. So there's certain steps. So why learn how to build the entire house before we actually have to build all of the things at the end of the build? Okay. So but I get it, right? You want to know, like, what is it going to take to do this thing? Well, that's usually done in like a 30-minute video. Like, I could tell you exactly what you need to do inside of building one of these or anything for that matter, but you don't need to know all of the steps to do it all, right? And then what we need to do now is come back and go, okay, so what are the actual steps, right? So you have to stop learning, right, all of the things about the aspect of like what you're doing, and just learn the one thing. Learn the next step, right? You might want to write that one down. Learn the next step and then implement. Learn the next step and then implement, right? And the same thing goes for anything, right? So my daughter, like I said, she's into beach volleyball, wants to be a great beach volleyball player. She's devoting all of her time to really doing really good at that. But if all she did was pop on YouTube and watch other beach volleyball players and got tips, that would be great. But she's not going to get better until she implements the things that she's learning, right? So we learn, we implement, we learn, we implement. It's the only way. Okay. And then there's going to be some things that you're like, oh, you know what? That thing right there, I learned how to do that. I don't have to learn how to do it again. I just got to do it again. And then I got to do it again. So an example would be, let's say that you need to learn how to write a piece of content. Well, you have to learn it. You got to go through that training, and then you write it, and then you learned from that experience. And now you go back, you don't have to relearn it again. You might have to tweak it a little bit, but then you're going to do it again. And then you're going to come back and you're going to do it again, and you're going to get better each and every time. Same thing. If my daughter's going to learn maybe how to maybe do a cut shot, right? Well, she's going to do 100 cut shots. She's going to watch how to do them, but then she's going to go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try it now. Try it over and over and over again. It's reps doing it, right? Actually, I just went through this with her just the other day. Okay. So in beach volleyball, one of the biggest things the most important things to do is pass. You got to be able to pass. You got to be able to serve receive, as they call it, right? So the ball comes over the net, and you need to be able to pass that ball, so that way your setter can set the ball. It's very basic, but it's very, very important. And if you find a player that can't do a good serve receive, you're going to serve to that person, and you're going to not make it easy for that person to actually retrieve it. Okay. So I said this to my daughter the other day. I go, that right there is the number one thing that you need to just keep working on and keep working on. And instead of me saying like, go out there and do 700, 700 service eves so you get better at it, why don't you do 100 a day? 7 days, that's 700, but it's reps. You can watch a video on maybe some tips on how to get better at it, but then you're going to take it out with you and you're going to practice it. And then you're going to come back the next day and practice it. And the next day and practice it. The same thing goes with anything we're doing in business. Okay. We have to do it over and over and over again. But the thing is, it's not as fun because it's the same thing you're doing. It gets boring until you start seeing the results, until you're out there on the court or you're in your business and you see the results. Okay. So what we need to do is get out of the learning phase. And I don't mean that you have to know everything. Okay. You do not have to know everything right now. Okay. You just have to know what that next step is. You need to learn that step, and then you need to implement that step. It's literally that simple. You do not have to know it all. I'll get people that are like, well, Scott, what happens when I start making money? Do I need to set up an LLC? Do I need to... Whoa. Don't even worry about that yet. You don't even have your website built yet. You don't even have your domain name picked yet. Right? My wife has a friend who wanted to start selling on Etsy. Starts asking my wife all these questions about bookkeeping and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, you don't need to know that yet. Right? You got to get something up there and get something selling before you're going to have to worry about those other steps. But we always want to know, like, but what happens now? What happens next? What happens if this happens? Right? So we do that to ourselves, and that prevents us from actually taking that step. So my advice here for you today, and my little reminder really, is just learn the next step and then implement that step. Okay? And what I would love for you to do is this week is plan out what are those steps. And then from there, what one are you going to learn and then implement? And you know what? There's some right now you might not need to learn. You just need to do them. So make a commitment to yourself to either learn one of these things and implement it immediately. Okay. Don't learn the whole process. You don't need to. Okay. And don't fall into that learning curse or that learning trap, because that'll happen. And what happens then is no results. And like Steve said, I feel like I just struggle getting started, even though I know what I need to do. So what you need to do is figure out what is that next step, learn it if you need to learn it, and then do it. And you know what? If it's not perfect, it's okay. It's better than it not being done. Okay. Get something out there so this way here you can improve upon it. All right. So learn enough for that one step, implement it, rinse and repeat. Okay. What's the next step? Learn it, implement. All right. So guys, that is your Monday mindset. Hopefully this has helped you. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I would invite you to come on over and hang out with us on our morning coffee talks. That's where I'm doing this right now. And you can do that by heading over to takeactioncrew.com. You'll also be part of our email list where I will send out some useful tips, and I'll keep you guys posted on any other cool things that we're doing inside of our Brand Creators Academy or our niche properties training and all of that, which I also should probably remind you, if you want action steps that are in order of building these niche properties and you want to learn just one specific part that builds on the next, then I would encourage you also to check out our niche properties training. And you can find that by heading over to buildnicheproperties.com. Again, that's buildnicheproperties.com. And you can follow along there and you'll see, learn something, implement, learn something, implement. That's how I do everything. And that's how I teach everything. All right. So go check that out. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Have an awesome, amazing day. Have a great week. And I'll see you here back on the next episode. Take care, guys. Cut. All right, guys. What do you guys think? Anybody fall into that trap? Anybody feel like learning and like researching is like easy, right? That part is easy. That part is fun. Researching and digging and finding and discovering. It's like, that's the fun part. But now we found that piece of land and then we go, all right, guys, start digging the hole. It's not easy, right? And I'm not here to tell you that anything's easy. Anything out there that anybody says that it's easy, I'm just going to say it, full of crap. Okay? Because it's not easy. There's a lot of things that you have to consider. And I always tell people this too. The grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence. You've heard that before, but you just have to decide what is right for you. What is right for you? What is right for your family? What is right for you as a person? Like, how do you learn? What do you want to do? Right. And stop going after like all of the shiny objects or all of the promises. I'm here to tell you that a lot of this stuff works, right? But it comes down to the individual. Just like Steve said, I went through the whole training. It's great, but I haven't implemented it yet. And I'm stuck there. You got to make a move, right? You got to take that step. All right. So let me see here real quick. Oh, okay. This is a good question. How much should you consume in a day to continue to grow and improve? Well, I mean, the question is this: what's the next step for you? Okay. And from there, what do you need to learn? Do you need to learn anything at that point? Have you already learned it? Or do you just have to go back and refresh on it? Like, what is that next step? Not the big project. Like, what's the next step in this in order to get this thing built? So that's what I would say. I mean, it depends, I mean, I personally wouldn't want to go through and have to learn something for more than an hour a day. That would not work for me. Like, I'm a very, very hands-on implement. Like, I got to get things. I'm flipping through. I'm trying to skim so I can get through it so I can go out and start the work. Like, that's just me. I don't want to say, I want to put something in play so I can go ahead and see how it's going to work. Right. If we're doing a Facebook ad, it's great to sit here and come up with theories and strategies and all that stuff. But until we actually get it out there and you actually get some traffic going through it, we don't know what it's going to do. Right. Same thing with a site. We don't know until we start posting content on a regular basis and see if it's going to work. Don't know. Right. I mean, same thing goes for like an Airbnb, right? Like my wife and I are talking right now, possibly doing another Airbnb, in the future, and in certain areas that we would like to have one, and think about where we would want to be. So this is the fun part, right? But we don't know 100% that it's going to pan out as we would think. Are we going to do it? Probably, but we don't know 100% for sure if all the numbers that we're running are going to be 100% accurate. We don't know. But you know what? We're going to look at it the best we can with our research, and then we're going to go, right, and give it a shot, right? And you always can look at it and go, okay, well, what if it doesn't work? And what's the worst that's going to happen? And something like that, you got a mortgage involved, you got all that stuff. That's why I say the niche property stuff. Like when I'm starting one of those, I might invest $2,000-$3,000 in some content and go, no, we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, I can back off and let it sit and move on to something else, maybe, right? But you have to understand and realize that not everything's going to work, but you do have to put in a good amount of effort. Let's see here. Yeah, no problem, Elizabeth. Yeah, there's so much to learn in life. So fun. It is. Would you say that the reason for being stuck is because the why is not important enough yet? It could be. It could be, Alejandro. It's a great, great thing. I say that all the time. If you let's talk sports for a minute. We're not going to talk Yankees or Red Sox, any of that stuff. We're going to talk about like sports in general, right? If you are an upcoming athlete and you played a game and you missed your shots, right? Whether it's volleyball, whether it's basketball, whether you struck out 3 times in a game, 4 times in a game. If you don't come back the next day and just go, you know what? I got to go to the gym. I got to go get some reps in. I'm going to go take 100 swings. I'm going to go ahead and hit 100 balls. I'm going to, whatever it is. If you're not doing that, do you really want to be a great player? Right. So the way I look at it is if you're struggling on something, or if you're like really determined that you want the outcome there, then you'll put in the work. But if not, you're kind of comfortable still. You probably still got your 9 to 5. You're not really unhappy. You just wish you could do less and be home more, or have your own hours or whatever. But is it really that much of a desire for you? Really? At this point, maybe you'll hit a point, but maybe it's not. So you bring up a very, very good point. How bad do you really want it? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to actually do the work? Not the learning side, the work. And that's the big difference there. Would you say continued progress is key, not continued movement? Yes and no. I think movement is big. And because even the littlest movement is you have more chances, right? So like continued progress. Yes, progress. You want to see progress, right? If you just go up to the plate every single time and you're going to swing the bat and you miss the ball every single time, we got to make an adjustment here, right? But if we show up every day, meaning the movement part, if we show up every day, dig in that box and take swings, a good chance we're probably going to see progress, right? So it kind of works hand in hand there. Let's see. I'm not sure I understand that one. Let's see. I don't think. Let's see. That was it, I think. On a game, I don't understand that one, Gabrielle. I've been working on a game player, but I haven't eaten anything yet. Why? I don't know what that means, so I can't answer that. Having issues growing my email list. Have to get your giveaway boost, I think, to test. Is there any tutorials in BCA on this tool? Not just an installation. Yeah, Alejandro. I mean, inside of the email list building, whether it's the email list building fast track or the email marketing accelerator, both of them will have using the giveaway as a way to build the list. So I would definitely recommend going into those. And if you ever have any questions in there and you're in BCA, just ask those questions in BCA. You'll have a bunch. I know Ty Linda, well, I don't know if it's on with us this morning. She runs giveaways quite frequently and does really well with them. And there's other ones also in our community. You can always just post a question there if you have any questions there, and we can direct you for that. But yeah, I would say if you're having issues growing the email list, a lot of times it's the lead magnet. So the lead magnet, we would have to look at that and kind of identify if the lead magnet, in fact, was the issue. So there's some things that you'd have to look at there, but you have to test some things. Sure. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. And I will end on this. If you are watching this and you are interested in building a niche property, if that's your thing, if that's something you want to really do and build, then I would recommend definitely checking out our buildnicheproperties.com. That's where you can get our full training. And inside of BCA, if you're inside of BCA, you'll also be able to get some additional resources that will help you build out your niche property. And when you do sign up for the niche properties training, you will have an option there to become a member of the Brand Creators Academy. So check it out if you're interested. And if not, no problem. Cool. That's fine. But I would love to know what you're working on. So if you guys want to do that in the comments as well, let me know right now what you guys are working on. What are you guys up to? What are you trying to achieve? Let's see it in the comments. And again, I'll watch this back too, or I'll look at the comments back and we'll see if there's anything I need to answer there. All right. So guys, have an awesome, amazing day. Take care, take action, get out there and learn enough, just enough to take that next step, that next action step. All right. And think about that the rest of this week. All right. So guys, take care, take action. Talk to you soon. Bye guys.